thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. These acts shattered steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve.
So obviously our tribute goes out to all those who lost their lives, lost loved ones, and helped save. And hopefully, the memory will never be forgotten. And, literally, like, the bar was playing Tom Petty, and we asked if we could have the sound on for the tennis. They put on, everybody cheered. Like, it's like, all of a sudden we've got this tennis bug.
Kudos to Tennis Canada for the program that they've developed and the athletes coming out of it. It's just, there's a long list right now of young talent that are no doubt inspiring the next generation.
But I remember having a conversation, I might get this date wrong, a decade ago with Michael Downing, his first go around as president and CEO of Tennis Canada. And they talked about building and investing in a national training center in Montreal. And they talked about bringing in high performance coaches. Not to take anything away from Bianca, who won the US Open 2 years ago, or Eugenie or Rihanna, but I feel like Fernandez, the maple syrup comment, you're in the sponsorship business. Did the phones light up last night?
No kidding. If a brand doesn't get behind that, it's a big missed opportunity.
We want to talk about resilience. New Orleans is the pinnacle of that.
A city like New Orleans, which is an amazing place, yet totally smacks of extreme disparity, right? Between rich and poor, between black and white, between downtown and suburban. I feel so badly for the city of New Orleans because, again, it's been hit by this tragedy.
So as a brand, I think it's you're in that interesting space of, how do you try to lift up your people during such a hard time? And I think that's all you have. That's what you have to do is, get on the ground, boots on the ground, try to support the people and get the city back to where it should be. I think you divert your attention from maybe traditional sponsorship to really support the people, because that's what they need right now in order to get the team back home.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that expression, boots on the ground.
If Tide could clean 1 million pounds of dirty NFL jerseys in cold, it can definitely clean yours.
And this washing machine will make sure you don't forget it.
Comes with your favorite team logo. Washes in cold because it's a washing machine.
I think somebody just found out what Mark wants for his birthday.
And the coolest thing about this is I found out that Tide scientists went team by team, asked the equipment managers if they wanted to switch over to cold water Tide. And so you think about that, they couldn't be more authentically integrated into the NFL story. And it looks like about 15 teams complied. And so now, of course, they're going to have a mandate to turn over, X million loads of laundry to cold water, tying back to their sustainability cause.
The collaboration becomes just as much them as it is me. They want to be really connected to a brand, and for me to be able to help them connect, that's amazing.
We think about, at least we do, what we're going to wear when we go to the game, right? So I literally last night wore my Gale Sayers Roots of Fight long sleeve because Gale Sayers is my favorite football player of all time. And I wore my sublimated Steelers logo hat because it's not the night they're playing. However, on Sunday, when we play the Bills, I will have a completely different outfit. And I think Pepsi's really tapped into something here, that football watching isn't just about your snacks and your drinks. It is what you're wearing.
GoDaddy, a website hosting service, cutting service for the owner of an anti-abortion website that allows people to report anonymous tips on suspected abortions. It comes as Lyft and Uber announce they will cover legal fees for any driver sued under the new law.
I think what we're seeing is, there's a monumental shift in the way brands are approaching, highly political situations. So what I would say to a brand is you can't take a stance in everything because you'll get lost, and you can't be everything to everyone, but your values must withstand political pressure. So that's, I really believe that if, through and through the line, your company's brand identity and brand values, truly don't align with such the legislation in Texas, then I almost think it's incumbent on you to take a stand. And I think, like I said, you've got to back it up. So your internal policies all the way out to how you advertise and promote yourself and brand yourself has to be able to back up what it is you're going to stand for.
Adverse childhood experiences can last a lifetime. Let's make sure they don't. Donate now at bigbrothersbigsisters.ca.
This was a great opportunity for me working with Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Canada. I myself am a former little brother.
It gets you, right? And it gets the message across about the great work that this organization is doing. So yeah, absolutely love it.
For years, the Venice Film Festival and Toronto Film Festival had a little bit of a kind of friendly rivalry. The Venice Film Festival is actually one of the oldest festivals around.
Zendaya è una ex star del Disney Channel, consacrata.
It's sad not to be on that street again in quite the heightened way that it usually is. Such a wonderful love-in between fans of cinema and film.
I mean, I miss the buzz that TIFF brings to the city. I had a chance to work with RBC on TIFF for a couple of years, and I just miss being part of, big parties, events, packed streets, packed movie screenings. And now you have this year a very muffled event, which doesn't feel like a glamorous film festival. I think the glamour is more on the Venice one this year. But again, what the hell were those walls separating people? Why are you going to have people at the venue or at the event if they can't even see what's going on?
And the winner is the white car wins. Upper level, you have the winning car.
I think this is a great idea. I mean, we're trying to, as sponsor strategies, we're always trying to get properties to think differently about what assets are they creating, how are they improving the experience for their fans. So I think this is a great idea of bringing in new technologies.
I know you love drone racing, so I want to hear your thoughts on this $100 million deal, title sponsored with Algorand, the blockchain deal. Go ahead, don't hold back.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I don't know if the drone racing league is big enough to deserve $100 million.
That was going to be my question. Why is it $100 million?
I want to flip this on its head a little bit and talk more about crypto and the deals that we've seen. We look at crypto alone. Crypto.com, one of the biggest ones investing in the space, just closed a deal with Formula One, with UFC, and they closed the biggest deal in UFC's history at $175 million. So it's just a cautionary tale for properties, taking crypto dollars, just thinking about how are you actually integrating these companies within your ecosystem and help them be successful, because some of these fantasy properties that we're investing heavily are no longer around with us. So if you're really going to engage with a brand for 10 years, let's make sure that you have a proper and sound strategy.
But one more question for you about NBA. The WNBA last year ran a midseason tournament. The winning team got $30,000 per player. NBA is talking about doing it. Of course, in sports, money is sexist, so it's $1 million per player, which is kind of gross. It's not embarrassing. But one word answer, yes or no, are you in favor of a mid-season NBA tournament?
Yes. And I'll say just quickly, it happens in other sports internationally. We have these mid-season tournaments and other side tournaments. So it's good to see one of the big four leagues getting into something different than just the traditional league.
How long have you lived in Canada?
I've been here 7 years.
And can you vote in a city election, provincial election, or a federal election?
Can't vote at all. So it's
tell me how it makes you feel.
It's a third of my life been living in almost a third of my life living in Canada. I pay taxes. I've been here. I plan on staying here. I'm buying property here. I think a midpoint would be a great balancing act for the government, where residents that have a long-standing resident status in the country. I've been a resident for almost 3.5 years. Just like in New Zealand, you can have maybe access to local elections. So you locally can be represented within your communities.
Thanks so much, Mark. Nice to see you as well. You look fantastic.
Oh man, you'll do anything I send you a $20 e-transfer to say. That might go to my head if I was 15 years old.
Oh, I would think so. How incredible is that? What an experience. And which one of these are you, this isn't part of the quiz, but which one are you most excited about here?
And I would just say for me, it's really, as much as I'm in the business of events and I'm in the business of travel and the business, it's face-to-face connection. And I know it's a bit broad, but the fact that you and I used to, when we worked together, you know, and we needed to chat about something, we'd have a chat, right? We talked about your energy, right? You're a person who brings energy into an environment. And I think that for me, I miss the most. What about you?
So sorry, my energy, let me just confirm, it's my energy in your environment that you miss the most?
Number one, I miss Vanessa's energy. I called Mike and I asked if I could have a half hour of you to come over to our office today and energize the place.
Well, now that I'm a senior vice president, my invoices are pretty high. So we're going to have to talk about that.
Whipping out the card in this digital age already.
We're still feeling concerned about our personal health, but we're better than we were last year. So that's really good. That's good news. We're still missing connection, but now we're excited about because we're getting some of it as well. A fifth, they're ready to go back to live. They're going to go. A fifth, not so much, but there are those in the middle that we can bring on board with just a couple of things, and that's vaccine passports and social distancing measures.
Under Armour worked tirelessly with us to build a comprehensive new branding initiative that maintains the most important traditions and staples of the UCLA brand.
UCLA has filed a lawsuit against Under Armour for breach of contract, seeking damages for more than $200 million.
This one, what I found so interesting is Under Armour's slogan is "Protect this house."
Right.
And outside of everything that's going on with business and COVID is everything that's going on at UCLA. And so the sexual abuse scandals, the admissions scandals, and
right.
Under Armour is about protect this house. I think it's phenomenal that they're standing up for their brand. And I actually think that like universities, UCLA, and, we've also seen some universities in Canada, they need to pull it together.
His game's great, his mullet's even better.
Albeit this type of series has worked well for things like F1, but I do have a question for you. Why don't the Leafs sell the best sponsorship category available to them, which is the official sponsor of Misery? I mean, they own Misery. Why don't they sell that as a category? Help me out here. I haven't figured this one out.
We talked before. It's what's the title of this? Is all.
It's all or nothing.
All or nothing.
You had a twist.
All for nothing.
I don't know. I think this is an amazing fit. I had to say it.
I do too. I think it's fresh, it's new, it's interesting, it's exciting. We all love Lululemon. They obviously did very well as a business over the last year last 18 months during COVID.
With all due respect to my friends in HBC, and I've spent a lot of money on their stuff. And I think this is one of those situations where often properties look at getting brands involved, not just for the financial investment, but also for the brand halo. And I think this will do as much for the brands of the Canadian Paralympic Committee and Canadian Olympic Committee as it will for Lulu.
We have to face that beauty is in the eye of the coder. Search for beautiful skin, beautiful face, beautiful woman. Where are the women of color? Where are the women that look like me or you or you? Help us and post using hashtag #DecodeTheBias on Instagram or Twitter to send 1,000 girls to Code Camp.
So first of all, I think that the idea of defining perfection and beauty, I get upset by it. It gives me hives because I think there's so many ways that beauty can come to life. I love the fact that they're making a stand. I think it's great because we are our own worst enemies. We're the ones who have said that beauty looks like this. Mm-hmm. And so let's change that conversation.